Hello everyone and welcome back for another video. Today we've got another quick and easy one using the Concord & Knight plaid background stamp set. I wanted this stamp set last year. It came out last year but it was always sold out. But I finally got a hold of it around, I don't know, March or April of this year. So I have been waiting to do this buffalo plaid for a long time. I really love buffalo plaid. At Christmas time, I added that to a lot of decorations this year, and I just love it. So I've got a piece of Simon Says Stamp lipstick red cardstock, and I've got it in my stamp platform, and I'm going to ink this up with VersaFine Onyx Black because I'm going to just use some clear embossing powder over the top of it when I get it stamped. This is a new stamp and it has a lot of solid areas, so I did have to stamp it quite a few times to get a really good and even impression. So just be patient when you have new stamps and you have stamps that have a lot of solid area to them. It will take multiple inkings up to get it to have an image that you like. So I'm just dumping on a whole bunch of this Wow Superfine Gloss clear embossing powder, and then I will heat set it with my gun. I did get a little embossing powder, where I didn't want it, so I just took a dry brush and brushed it away. Be sure your heat tool is nice and hot because this is a lot of embossing powder, so it's going to take some time to emboss it, so you want to make sure it's good and hot to try to minimize the warping. But the magic happens and it gets all heat embossed and it's all nice and glossy and buffalo plaid-y. Okay, so step 2 is to put the little line in between. And so I'm just lining it up where I want it in my design. And then I moved it over so I can just move my paper over and not have to reposition my stamp. So I'm just going to ink that up with some Simon Says Stamp clear embossing ink. It's just the clear sticky ink. And I will stamp all the little lines because that ink stays sticky for a long time. So I can just stamp all the little lines and then put the embossing powder on all at once. And I'm going to use a gold glitter embossing powder because I really wanted those lines to stand out and be noticed. You can also go the other direction with it and create a cross pattern with the gold lines, but I didn't want to do that. I just did one set of lines. Okay, and then we'll just heat set those lines. Oh, I did have to take a dry brush and go in between because I forgot to use my embossing buddy bag. And so I did get a lot of stray adhesive sticking to those black lines. So I had to take a dry brush and go in between. So don't forget your embossing buddy bag. Although I wasn't real concerned because I thought the occasional little gold glittery flake would be pretty anyway. So it didn't really bother me too much that there was an occasional little glitter spot. So got that all melted, and I'll get this funneled back into my jar and put that away so I don't spill it. Okay, so move that out of the way, and I will trim down this to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I'm going to bring in my little bow easy thing and some gold ribbon just out of my stash. Whenever Michael's usually has a dollar ribbon bin, and I'll go through that every time they have a dollar ribbon bin and add to my ribbon stash. I have quite the ribbon stash now, so I try to stay away from the dollar bin now. But anyway, so I'm going to make it look like a present, and I'm going to use my grid on my glass media mat to figure out the centers on all 4 sides, and I'll just put a little mark with my pencil, and that way I know where to put adhesive and where to put my ribbon. So I'm just going to use a little Tombow mono permanent adhesive, and then put the ribbon on, cut it off, and do the same thing for the other side. And just marking the center. Add my adhesive, wrap my ribbon around, and cut it off. And it's looking so pretty. I just love how this one turned out. And if you got just like a man that you're sending a card to, this would be probably a really great card to send to just a single man. So just using the largest, I don't know what you call this, teeth on my Bow Easy to create the bow. And you pull it good and tight, and the when you're pulling on it, you're actually looking at the back side of the bow. You flip it over, and that's the pretty side of the bow. I decided to take a little piece of baker's twine, and my thought was I wanted to gather up the gold ribbon so it looked like that the bow was tied on more, but I didn't get it tied very tightly. So it didn't quite have the effect that I wanted it to, but you kind of get the drift. If you tie it a little tighter, then it'll give more of the illusion that your bow is actually tied onto the ribbon versus just, you know, stuck onto the ribbon. So I'm using these medium adhesive dots, and I think I put 2 or 3 on the back since it's a, you know, a larger bow, to stick it down, and then I folded it over the ends to create the little fishtail or dovetail or whatever kinds of little fancy ends that you call these. And I thought I wanted to put a die cut word on it, but I decided no, that was too big, but it still needed something else. So I have the littlest die from the Sizzix tag collection framelits, and I'm going to cut a little tag out of some Neenah Desert Storm using my little Sizzix Sidekick machine. I love this little machine. You can just put it right on your desk, takes up no space at all, and you don't have to go to your big die cutter. Although I do love my big Gemini, I won't go back to a larger hand crank at all. The Gemini is definitely awesome. And on the Comfort and Joy stamp set, there is this small Merry Christmas that will fit diagonally on this, and I think that'll make it look really cute. Just going to stamp it again with the VersaFine. It was on my desk and handy, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so to put this on, I want to give it a little bit of a lift, so I'm going to just cut a little square of foam, and I'm going to put it on the back side. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Nuvo Deluxe adhesive and put it on the front. And I'm going to stick that underneath the ribbon, and then stick the foam end down, and that gives it some lift and dimension off the front. And I think that's really, really cute. So here's a final look. I will be back soon with another video. The next video, I believe, will be doing the insides of your cards. See you soon.